An aquatic bromance, horrors of the deep, and an AI daddy? The long-awaited trailer for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is packed with details that might have swum right past you. Not only is Aquaman back for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, but the DC sequel expands the fish-friendly hero's wardrobe, putting a spin on the classic blue stealth suit from the comics. The blue suit debuted in 1986's Aquaman #1, and its ability to allow Aquaman to blend in while underwater proved to be a contrast to his iconic orange and green outfit. As with all superhero costume changes, the blue camouflage suit has its fans and detractors. However, it's hard not to appreciate a nod to a deep piece of DC Comics lore. It seems that Jason Momoa and James Wan are fans of the blue camouflage suit, as the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer gives a great look at the hero's new costume. In the trailer, we see Aquaman donning his new dark blue suit, using its camouflage technology, which seemingly makes him invisible, to break into the desert prison housing Orm. Although it probably won't be around for long, simply referencing Aquaman's comic book wardrobe change will surely be enough to satisfy die-hard fans. And it's always possible he's wearing the suit in other scenes in the trailer. You just can't see him. At long last, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom sees the return of DC's favorite couple. Well, maybe not exactly. For those wondering, Amber Heard is definitely reprising her role as the Queen of Atlantis. Her highly publicized defamation trial involving ex-husband Johnny Depp caused a backlash, with fans even calling for her replacement. But lo and behold, she's in at least one shot of the new trailer. The majority of the footage shows Arthur's relationship with his reluctant half-brother Orm as they team up to save Atlantis from Black Manta.
Good job, little brother. High five.
Do not call me brother.
So where does that leave Mera? It's hard to say. In a succession of increasingly fast-paced action shots, Mera appears in only one brief moment, where she seems to be trying to break through a window underwater. Even when Arthur appears happy with his baby, Mera is hardly in the picture. James Wan has admitted to Entertainment Weekly that the film doesn't focus on Arthur's romantic entanglements, but instead on the two brothers. With a scaled-down role in the movie's story, it makes sense then why she doesn't appear prominently in the trailer. By skipping ahead 4 years, viewers will have missed out on a lot of the development between Arthur and Mera, but hopefully we at least get to see her be with her family. One of the most appealing aspects of the world of Aquaman is that there's no shortage of odd creatures and humanoid hybrids that can come into play when Arthur Curry is in Atlantis. The trailer for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom offers a glimpse of plenty of new additions, including some hammerhead shark people flanking Arthur and Orm while they're underwater. These could very well be some associates of King Shark, who entered the DCEU in the Suicide Squad.
New dumb friends.
But according to some reports, the movie is set to feature the character of Karshan, another shark from DC Comics who rapidly evolved to human-like intelligence and telepathy after being hit with a dose of radiation. So even though they look similar, we wouldn't count on King Shark showing up. He might be too weird even for an Aquaman movie. The Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer holds plenty of references to the aquatic superhero's past, but one of its more veiled references may actually be a nod to the real-life history of his actor.
4 years ago, I was basically unemployed. A wanderer with no home.
This line about the hero's history actually mirrors that of Jason Momoa, who has revealed in interviews that he struggled with a prolonged period of unemployment after his breakout stint as Khal Drogo on Game of Thrones. He once told in style, "I couldn't get work. It's very challenging when you have babies and you're completely in debt."
I mean, where are you going to put Drogo in a comedy? It's like, where the hell do you put him?
A bit later in the trailer, Aquaman declares that he finally got a job as the King of Atlantis. In a similar vein, Momoa struggled to find work and proved when he was cast as Aquaman in the DCEU. Momoa's final appearance on Game of Thrones was in 2012, while his debut as Aquaman came in 2016, a 4-year gap. Is this an intentional reference to Momoa's story? Maybe not, but it's hard to ignore the parallels. At least one thing is clear from the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer. Director James Wan is letting his horror roots show more than ever. While the first Aquaman movie had some scary sequences of its own, the horror dial is clearly getting cranked up to 11 for the sequel, as viewers can see what are ostensibly zombified Atlanteans rising up to do battle with Atlantis. What casual fans may not have picked up on is that Wan appears to finally be getting an opportunity to make the horror-tinged Atlantis story that he has long desired. At one point in time, the esteemed horror director was slated to direct an Aquaman spin-off called The Trench, which would focus on the sinister beings that Aquaman faces off against in his first movie. Unfortunately, the project was canned, leaving eager fans worried that Wan's take on a more overtly horror-inspired DC project would not come to fruition. Thankfully, this latest trailer suggests that he managed to make his wish come true, albeit in a different form. It seems that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom may be drawing more from Wan's scrapped The Trench movie than some may have expected. The director once revealed that the canceled film was stealthily going to feature Black Manta, whose gruesome story is now front and center. He's also teased that the Aquaman sequel will bring back other concepts from The Trench. Speaking to comicbook.com, Wan said, Listen, I feel like everything I come up with, everything I do, if I come up with something that I don't end up using, that doesn't mean that I cannot be inspired to use that in a different way. Perhaps one of the most interesting details in the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer happens as the first look wraps up. Pay close attention to the final moments as the credits for the film come up, and viewers will see that Jason Momoa has received a story by credit, alongside James Wan, David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, and Thomas Posibit. While Momoa didn't write the script, The Lost Kingdom does feature story ideas from the actor. During an interview with The Hollywood Reporter in 2022, Momoa expressed just how excited he was to have played a part in the sequel's narrative, revealing that he wrote a 50-page treatment for the project. Teasing the sequel, the actor said, "It's got my heart in it." How did the writing process start? In an interview with Drew Barrymore, Momoa candidly discussed what it was like to cook up the sequel, revealing that he worked on the first treatment, and Wan and Johnson McGoldrick finished it off.
After we ended the first one, I went in with my writing partner, and I kind of dreamed up the second one.
Black Manta is more powerful than ever in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom thanks to his acquisition of the Black Trident. However, that may not be the only upgrade he gets in the sequel. It may be a bit of a stretch, but around the 52-second mark of the trailer, he gets inside a vessel that could be a loose adaptation of the Mecha Manta from the comics.
I'm gonna kill Aquaman and destroy everything he holds dear.
The Mecha Manta is a fairly new addition to Black Manta's arsenal in the comics, coming into play originally in Aquaman Volume 8, number 51, which came out in 2019. It's an artificial intelligence gifted to the supervillain by Lex Luthor that emulates the thoughts of Black Manta's deceased father. It also doesn't hurt that it's encased in a giant robot capable of destroying its opponents. Granted, it's hard to tell from the trailer whether it is in fact an adaptation of the Mecha Manta. It could just be another random vessel Black Manta uses to wage his war against sea dwellers. It's worth noting that audiences saw Black Manta's father die in the first Aquaman movie.
Damn you! Go!
Given how the sequel seems to emphasize the importance of family, it wouldn't be out of the question for dear old dad to come back into the mix. Then again, there's likely already so much going on in the sequel that adding an AI layer could make things even more convoluted. The trailer for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is filled to the brim with narrative threads that are worth unraveling. While Arthur Curry is definitely struggling with being a father in the cinematic outing, he's also dealing with being a good brother. At the end of the first Aquaman, Curry's half-brother Orm is imprisoned after his gambit to take over Atlantis flops. While Curry and Orm were never on the best of terms, the final moments of Aquaman cemented the animosity the two had for one another. In The Lost Kingdom, Orm is surprisingly back, and the vibe he shares with Curry is nothing short of hilarious. The trailer shows Curry having no choice but to break Orm out of prison so they can stop Black Manta together, making the sequel a true family affair. From there, the trailer makes it a point to hammer home how Orm and Aquaman are on this strange journey together whether they like it or not. Needless to say, the bromance vibes are oozing thanks to the chemistry between Wilson and Momoa. While speaking with Entertainment Weekly, director James Wan candidly discussed how he always wanted Aquaman 2 to focus on the two estranged brothers. He revealed, "The second movie was always going to be Arthur and Orm. So the first was a romance action-adventure movie, the second one is a bromance action-adventure movie.